again to the Warren Hayes Show. And I'm welcoming you to the Warren Hayes Show, for it is I, Mr. Warren Hayes, whose name appears in the title of this internet web program. I'm glad that you're with us, with me. I say us, but it's not as if I don't have a staff. I have no one doing this aside from myself. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for pressing play and listening to this review of the July 10, 2018 edition of SmackDown Live. I'm really glad you guys are here. Today I am recording this on July 11th, and this is actually going up on July 11th. And it's a big day. It's a big day for your boy Warren, because tonight I am going to be debuting my very first 205 Live NXT post-show review live on FightfulSelect.com. And that's exciting. This is something I'm really looking forward to. I don't want to seem like I'm being dismissive. No, I'm really, really excited about this because Fightful's a cool place. Because I'm really happy to be able to create some content there, and I hope you guys come along and take a look at this review that I'm going to be doing later today, FightfulSelect.com. But some of you are maybe saying, Warren, isn't Fightful Select the premium service? Don't I have to subscribe? Yes, you do. Because if you subscribe, you're supporting one of the top-notch combat sports news websites out there. So yeah, you should subscribe just for that. However, rumor and innuendo going around the scuttlebutt, the scuttlebutt. There you go. Just leave it at that. Is that the inaugural episode tonight will be offered for free for the entire world to take a look at and enjoy. So you can come watch it live as I'm doing it. And then subsequent episodes will be made available for select members, for FightfulSelect.com subscribers. There's no reason really for you not to do it. So Fightful is a great source for combat sport news, including wrestling, including MMA as well. There's folks there that work really, really hard. And I'm just glad to be able to do my little part to try and make the service a little better and add my little grain of salt. It'll be fun. You should come check it out later tonight. Right after NXT tonight, I will be live. And if you're watching this in the future, then why don't you head over to the Fightful YouTube channel, and you'll probably be able to find this episode. You'll probably be able to find the episode still available up there for free in the trial section, in the free content section. So, and since we're talking about stuff that I do, I made my Raw review yesterday. That was pretty interesting. Not necessarily a great episode, but why don't you click on over and see what I really thought about it? It was a fine episode. Basically, what I had said, and I'm saying it again. The good was good enough to not outweigh, but to balance out the frustrating. So it was a fair show. It was fair. So SmackDown today and tomorrow, since we are in a pay-per-view week, tomorrow you will be getting my Extreme Rules predictions, right? For the pay-per-view, which is called Extreme Rules. Has nothing really extreme about it, but it's still named as such, so there's not much I can do about it, right? But I will do an extra video for my predictions tomorrow. Man, busy week for your boy Warren, and I don't have to be your boy either, it's something the cool people say, right? SmackDown Live. Let's jump right in. That's what you're all here for. That's what I'm here for. Let's talk about this. SmackDown, July 10, 2018. We start with Miz TV, whose guests are Team Hell No. So, essentially, we're getting Daniel Bryan and The Miz in the same ring together with microphones. It is always magic when this happens. So I'm hoping that week that this segment does continue this little simmering feud that these two guys have. And it did. And I'm pretty happy about that. Basically Miz comes out, plugs his new reality TV show, Miz and Mrs. He looks like he's dressed for, like he's the best man at some dude's wedding. And then someone on Twitter said, could you imagine the toast then he delivered? I'm like, man, he should rent out his services to do that. That'd be awesome. Team Hell No comes. Daniel Bryan wearing that atrocious shirt that they have made up on WWE shop t-shirts.coms. Man, what a bad shirt that is. It is bad. The one with the Kane mask and the yes arms popping out, that's not good. It's not a good shirt. Miz immediately sets everything down. I know you're upset because I beat you in the gauntlet match, and I want to be professional, and I hope you extend the same courtesy to me, And then Bryan is like, well, you're basically what you're telling me is I can't punch you in the mouth, and Kane sort of like, takes him back, has him take pause. It's like, dude, we've talked about this. Control your temper. I like this aspect of Kane. I like politician Kane, who's looking to find common ground here. Mayor Kane. I kind of like this. It's fun. So Bryan is going. But basically, Bryan is going to be civil thanks to Kane's intervention here, who calmed him down. So basically, Miz asked them, "Are you guys ready to fight the Bludgeon Brothers?" There's some in sync jokes, which would be a recurring theme in the evening. We know that the Bludgeon Brothers are undefeated since becoming the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but they're no Team Hell No. And then Miz says, well, why don't we take a look at your reunion, And then they show a video package of the last couple of weeks, but supplemented with more historical footage of Kane beating up Daniel Bryan, pile driving him on steps, and trying to capture Brie Bella and stuff like that. Cut back to the ring, and Miz is feigning shock. He's like, I don't know what happened. This is not the footage that you were meant to see. Kerwin, and then he looks into the camera and says, Kerwin in the truck, you're fired, man. Poor Kerwin, because that the Miz set this up, right? The Miz did set this up to stoke the flames, to try and create a rift between Kane and Daniel Bryan. That's what he does, right? And he's essentially throwing this Kerwin guy under the bus. It's like, Kerwin, you didn't show the right package. For sure, before the show, Miz went with his USB, his thumb drive, and he gave it to Kerwin. He said, this is the file you play when I tell you. And Kerwin's like, yeah, okay, fine. And just plugs it in. He just threw Kerwin under the bus. Kerwin, man, you were a patsy. I feel for you, man. We're gonna start a GoFundMe, Kerwin. We're gonna start a GoFundMe to help you get back on your feet. Rest in peace, Kerwin in the truck. But yeah, essentially, after this, after Miz tries to establish that he's good guy Miz here. Daniel Bryan's having nothing of this. He's like, look, I'm not falling for your tricks. You're trying to act professional, but all you're trying to do is stir the pot. And you're the Miz, and you're terrible at everything, especially being a person. And then Miz, this is what I like about their feud here. I don't know how much they really like or dislike each other. I don't know. I would assume that they're on good terms overall. But the way that Daniel Bryan is able to get to the Miz, and then the Miz becomes he becomes naturally frustrated and angered. He has this flare up. You see it happen. His face changes. His eyes light up. It's very, very, very natural. It says, and especially when Daniel Bryan says, the only thing you're worse the only thing you're worse at than stirring the pot is wrestling. Miz loses it, right? And he starts going off and he says, I want to be the guy who ends your career. He calls Kane a nostalgiac. And Bryan wants to go at it, and Kane sort of interferes and places himself between he and the Miz, and Miz says, yeah, that's right, hide behind your broken down demon one more time. Man, again, just stoking a little more of this fire of this feud between Miz and Daniel Bryan, and I'm fine with it. Again, just enough to make it interesting. Bludgeon Brothers arrive. Then Sanity arrives out of nowhere and attacks Team Hell No. So the Bludgeons jump in as well. And the New Day arrive because it was announced earlier in the day that the day before, it doesn't matter. It was announced on social media, is what I should be saying, that the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day are going to have a tables match at the pre-show of Extreme Rules. All right. So that's why the New Day are running in, because they see Sanity doing this and, all this setup, right? Did Sanity use a variant of the Magic Killer during that beatdown? Did I see that right? It feels like it looked like the Magic Killer. Anyway, there's a big old brawl that happens, and, all the faces are dead after this one. The heels are all standing tall in the ring. And that ends our segment. It was a good segment to open the show. I thought it was fun. Kane was also very funny. And this would also be, as well as the NSYNC stuff, Kane's comedy chops would continue being a thing during the evening. Kane's comedy was extremely on point last night on SmackDown. All right, next. We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Before the match begins, Rusev comes out. He has a microphone, and he says, essentially, I don't care what you do at Extreme Rules. You can hide in the basement. You can lock the doors. You can barricade the windows. I am coming to destroy the house that AJ Styles built. They're loud, Rusev Day chants. They're loud. And after I claim my first WWE title, we'll celebrate on the greatest day of them all. And Aiden Inglis grabs the microphone and belts out a beautiful Rusev Day. We get the bell. Shinsuke goes right after AJ, and then we go right to commercial. And this would be an extremely annoying theme, another extremely annoying theme of the evening. Commercials! I'll get back to that in a little while. There was one particular moment that was particularly terrible. And here's the thing. I'm in Canada, right? So I hear that you guys, as if I'm only talking to people in the United States, but people in America and the United States, they get to see a picture-in-picture of the action going on as the commercial is happening, but we don't get that luxury. We get the full commercial. We're blind during that time. We don't see a thing. It's very hard to get into matches when this kind of stuff happens. So when we come back from commercial, AJ Styles is in control of Shinsuke, and Rusev is on commentary. And this is where Rusev shines, because he is an extremely personable guy. He's got a great personality. He's very outgoing. He's charming. He's witty. You put a microphone in this guy's hand, you let him go, and you'll get magic like we got during this commentary where he's where he was talking about his calves at some point. It was like, follow me on Instagram, you'll see how big my calves are. Because we're talking about, what if AJ puts you in a calf crusher, Rusev? How are you going to get out of that? Rusev says, I have 4 different escapes. I have 4 different escapes planned to get out of a calf crusher, and I hope we get to see all 4 on Sunday. That'd be fantastic. Shin pushes AJ off the ropes to keep him from hitting a phenomenal forearm. Oh, and Rusev goes after Byron at some point as well. Because Byron starts saying, basically tries to downplay Rusev, downplay his chances. How do you, you're this is your first world championship chance. What have you done, basically? Rusev just basically reminding him, I've been undefeated for almost a year. I came out on a tank at WrestleMania. I have a day named after me. Rusev was really good. AJ tries to go for the Styles Clash, but Nak converts it into a triangle. AJ, to get out of it, forces a pin on Nakamura, who breaks up the hold. At some point, AJ Styles even mocks Shinsuke Nakamura with his "come on" call, and Nakamura sort of doesn't like it. Tricks him has him fly out to the outside, and he hits the phenomenal forearm to Shinsuke Nakamura, who is on the outside. So that's always cool. Phenomenal forearm is always a sight of beauty. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous move. At that point, Aiden English stands up and starts talking smack to AJ Styles, and Styles just drills Aiden in the mouth. Nakamura kicks him in the face. He kicks AJ in the face. Moves back a bit. Goes for the Kinshasa. AJ moves out of the way, and Shinsuke accidentally hits Aiden with the Kinshasa. They're back in the ring. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Rusev pulls him off the apron, forces the DQ. Rusev holds AJ so Shinsuke can hit a Kinshasa. My God. Jeff Hardy runs down for the save, but the heels get the upper hand. He double drop kicks the baddies to mount a bit of a comeback. Baseball slide through the bottom rope as well, and that's Paige's cue, basically, where she comes out and transforms these goings on, this bit of chaos into an official tag team match. Holla holla, playa, not so fast. Back from commercial, AJ and Rusev are going at it, and Rusev is using bear hugs. And I get it, because Rusev is a big guy, and bear hugs are an old school move. And I wonder sometimes what the relevance of a bear hug is in 2018. And this is, I'm completely removing myself from what Jonathan Coachman said a couple of weeks ago, basically where he broke kayfabe and said, bear hugs are a nice time to rest up. Which is what they're for. But, man, bear hugs are dull as fuck. They really are. Like, between that and a headlock, and Rusev did 2 bear hugs, and they're not fun to watch. It sucks a bit the energy out of the room. And realistically, the guy who's in the hug could just slide his arm, here under the chin, or start punching, doing anything. There's just dangling limp like that. I don't think it cuts it anymore. I don't think it cuts it anymore in our current landscape. I think a bear hug would be interesting if Rusev did a bear hug and literally started ragdolling the guy he's holding, just violently swinging him around like that. That'd be cool. Not the whole way, he does it 4 or 5 times, takes a breather, does it again. And especially with a guy like AJ Styles, who could sell it like he's being, like he's a baby being manhandled by a British nanny, it'd look great. It'd be much more credible. I don't know about bear hugs, man. I don't know. AJ eventually reverses it into a sleeper. He tags Jeff Hardy in, who basically only hits his typical offense. He doesn't, he does the leg drop. He does the leg drop. He does the sit up drop kick. He does the whisper in the wind thing. He did the bare minimum. Jeff Hardy. He did the bare minimum Jeff Hardy signature moves. It's really hard to look at Jeff Hardy, I find, these days. I think age is just catching up with him, and probably his nagging injuries as well. I mean, Lord knows, we know he's been plagued with those throughout his career. But I really think age is catching up with our man Jeff. And I think smart money is WWE taking the title off of him at Extreme Rules and giving him a break. I think he's hurt. There's something not right. It's not clicking, and it's too bad because you feel like creatively he's in a good place, but I think physically his body's not there. I don't think his body's following. The mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. Yeah, so basically, match ends when Rusev gets the Machka kick on Jeff Hardy and pins him. 1, 2, 3, and that's all she wrote. The heels win. We head backstage where James Ellsworth is warming up. He's doing push-ups. Carmella essentially comes over to say, you better not screw this up. James. And he says, relax, babe, I got this. And what's cool here, what I think is interesting, and how they've changed, at least for now, the relationship that Carmella and James have as opposed to before. James he's misogynistic and sexist with everyone, including Carmella. Like before, he had Carmella up on a pedestal, right? And he'd be gross and creepy with the other members of the SmackDown Women's division. But Carmella, she was in a class by herself, right? And now here he's just straight, completely unfiltered with every woman he meets, even Carmella. And you can tell Carmella's like, look, this is gross. Just do your thing. Shut up. I think that's interesting. We get our lumberjack match. I'm not a fan of lumberjack matches. I'm always ready to give a lumberjack match a chance. I think I try to do that with most of what I see in wrestling, because I always feel that there is room to do good things, to be creative, to be innovative. This was not the case. This was bad. This was a bad match. And again, it was another lumberjack match that didn't serve anything. People who were getting excited about intergender wrestling in WWE don't, you're putting Ellsworth in a position like this. Ellsworth isn't considered a legitimate male competitor for WWE, right? That's why he's a part of the women's division. So he's not considered like a legit male competitor. And, the match was short. The Lumberjacks were there to serve as a distraction and to kill time so that Asuka and Ellsworth wouldn't actually really have to wrestle. And all that Asuka would have to do was hit some offense, hit some spots, and that would be the end of that. And then, and the story with the lumberjack match is in itself, I don't understand. At some point Ellsworth tries to flee, and all the women start fighting with each other, and this is like, I don't know what it was spontaneous, and I don't know why it happened. and it sounded sort of counteract, except for Becky and Naomi, who basically drag him back to the ring, right? And then as they're dragging him over, then the rest of the women all come and start fighting with each other. And what was the spark? What was the catalyst? What made this happen? Because you have all sorts of friendships here. There are friendship triangles that exist. Why did they decide to start wailing on each other? What was the spark? Storytelling wise, it didn't make sense, and it was just frustrating to see. It was like, why? Aside from setting up the spot where Asuka body drops everyone and basically murders everyone, I don't see why they had to fight. There was no reason. Back in the ring, Carmella hands Ellsworth some spray. Some kind of spray. He tries to use it, but he can't. I'm not quite sure what happened. Ellsworth accidentally runs into Carmella, who knocks her off the apron, and Asuka gets James in the Asuka lock, and he taps. After the match, Carmella sprays Asuka in the eyes with said spray, and that is the end of the lumberjack match. Now, on Twitter, someone had mentioned, as I was talking about this, someone had said, the last good lumberjack match was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2015. And I was like, yeah. And before recording, I went back to take a look at it just to help me find my footing on what bothers me in lumberjack matches. And I figured it out. And the gimmick of a lumberjack match to begin with works when you have a sea of humans surrounding the ring. When Dean and Seth made their way down, there were like 20 guys around the ring, and you had you had Rob Van Dam, you had Ryback, you had Titus O'Neil, you had the Wyatt family, Kofi Kingston, Cesaro. You had a sea of people right there and there was about 20 people. So you're like, okay, there's no way these guys are gonna let. There's no way either Dean or Seth are going to be able to slip out of the ring without these guys interfering, because there's just too many people. He had 8, right? You had 2 ladies per side. It's, to begin with, visually, it's not very stunning, and it doesn't add to the drama of the match when you only have like a smattering of people around the ring. You're like, well, it's kind of easy to get away here, right? And the other thing that happens in the SummerSlam lumberjack match, the 2015 SummerSlam lumberjack match, is that at some point, Dean Ambrose, the commentary team says, most of these people around the ring, most of these guys around the ring had been victims of the Shields at some point, so they have a chip on their shoulders. Fine, all right? But you can only stretch that storyline to a certain extent, that as far as motivation goes. At some point, Dean gets launched outside of the ring, or rolls out, and so the lumberjacks push him back in, right? A couple of more moves against Seth, gets thrown out of the ring. Again, the lumberjacks are on him. He starts taking shots at them, right? So when he gets thrown out again, they don't just toss him in, they start stomping on him. And I'm like, all right, now this is interesting, because you've established motivation for these guys to really want to beat you up. And at no point during the match itself do the lumberjacks start spontaneously fighting with each other. It wouldn't have made sense. Then at some point, what's really cool is that Dean and Seth start fighting on the outside. The guys try to bring them back in the ring. They can't. So they start having a pull-apart brawl. You have the 20 guys who are trying to keep Dean and Seth off of each other, but they can't, because they want to rip each other's throats out. The adrenaline is in. They want to fight. and they can't keep them apart, so they start fighting into the arena, and the Lumberjacks are all just standing around and like, man, what do we do? And this was great. So Corporate Kane had to come out and start berating the Lumberjacks and saying, listen, you jerks, do your job. You're supposed to get these guys in the ring. So the guys are like, all right, fine. So, and this is happening while Dean and Seth are up in the rafters punching and kicking the crap out of each other. So that's cool. The Lumberjacks go off. Some of them grab Dean to try and bring him back. In the meanwhile, Seth he's like, I'm done with this, and he tries to escape, trying to go take like a passage next to the ramp to make his way to the back. But as he keeps going, as he gets to the exit, there's guys who are there. There are Lumberjacks who tackle him and grab him and bring him over. And then you have the amazing visual of having like 10 guys carrying Seth Rollins, like he's crowd surfing, right? At the top of their arms, just carrying him on like that, which ends, of course, with that amazing spot where Dean just leaps off into the sea of people, which was really cool. That was a good match and a good way to use the Lumberjacks as a story. Here, it was just there, and they started fighting for no reason, and there weren't enough people to make it look good. To make it feel like, yes, they are going to be encapsulated in this. They're going to be encapsulated in this little bubble of people. They won't be able to get out. It didn't work. Is my point. It didn't work. It was a bad match. It was bad. And then a little later on, Paige catches up with James and Carmella, and they make a shark cage match out of it. And here's another thing I don't understand. Why? Why is Ellsworth a factor in this match? I don't understand. Like the past 2 weeks, the story of the past few weeks of Asuka versus Carmella was Asuka just getting a chance to beat up James Ellsworth. That was the story. If there had been a story where James Ellsworth is constantly interfering in matches, costing Asuka victories or whatever, then yes, or disqualifying her, yes, totally yes. Put him in a shark cage, then I get it. Here it just feels like it's there. Hey Vince, what? We need an extreme stipulation for the Carmella Asuka match. Shark cages are extreme. Yeah, they have that Shark Week, and that's extreme. Put him in a shark cage. Besides, we're not done. Sorry, I got something in my throat, pal. That's my Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is always ends with it. We're still paying off that cage, pal. We still have to get some of that money off. We have to. We haven't done paying it off. We got to use it, pal. If I ever impersonate Vince McMahon again on any video I make, you are entirely entitled to unsubscribe me from your life. Oh Lord. The stipulation just feels tacked on. It's stupid, and we know how this is going to go. And besides, we've seen recently the Enzo cage match, right? That Big Show, when Big Show was Enzo's new big guy. Remember Big Cass versus Big Show? That was last year, wasn't it? And Enzo slipped through the bars because he was so small. That's probably something that Ellsworth can do. He's a small guy as well. It's either that, or it's a good way to sneak in a foreign object, such as a bottle of spray which was oddly established. Don't you think it was odd that there was this bottle of spray that was used here? Don't you think that was kind of, it's an establishing thing, and it's an odd prop. It's an unusual prop for a wrestling ring show. No, but it is. Like, if it had been, if Carmella had used a kendo stick, you'd be like, oh, okay. Or a chain. This was weird. And I don't care. James Ellsworth in a shark cage. It adds nothing. It's not even an interesting stip. It's weird. We had a promo where Kane and Daniel Bryan and the New Day are somewhere red in the building, and they are talking strategy. But Daniel Bryan and Kane are arguing. Big E says everyone needs to get their head in the game. Then he motivates everyone, and it ends with Kane saying something inspirational, which turns out to be an NSYNC lyric. And man, for real, Kane's comedic delivery last night, it was so good. It was really, really, really good. Legitimately found him funny. And then, oh my goodness, you know what? I think Christmas happened yesterday. I think Santa Claus finally figured out that we were all such good little guys and girls, and he brought us a present. He finally put Andrade Cien Almas back on TV for us. Finally giving us that match against Sin Cara, which I thought they were just going to forget about at this point. But no. They even recapped why this match was taking place in the first place. Showing back the interview when they had, in the little sting and at the bottom there was saying last month. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, last month. We've been waiting this long for it. This was a great match that was just too short. Man, if these dudes had had 12 to 15 minutes, we would have been in for a treat. I don't remember Hunico being this good, because we don't see Sin Cara, right? The Hunico is the current Sin Cara. I don't because we don't see Sin Cara wrestle at all. So you forget. We don't remember these things. It was good. And I was surprised at how much offense he actually got in, as opposed to Almas, who's the star, who's the guy they're building, and that's fine. And I'm actually, after this match, I'm like, dudes, let's raise the stakes. Let's make this, give us another match. Let's have a proper pay-per-view blowout for this. That was exciting. Sin Cara scissors Almas to the outside, and he dives right after him. Apparently during the commercial, there's the double tranquilo pose with Vega and Zelina Vega and Almas, but yeah, I'm Canadian. I didn't get to see it. I saw the GIFs on Twitter. I saw the still shots, and I was like, what? Boo! Sportsnet 360. Get with the program, man. Getting with the commercials. It bugs me. He hits a swinging. Sin Cara hits a swinging pile driver, and I'm like, they don't even let people do regular pile drivers. That's nuts. Cara hits a springboard moonsault on Almas. Almas looks to get Sin Cara off the top rope at some point, but Sin Cara reverses with what is apparently called a Volador spiral. I didn't know that's what it was called. It was Sean Ross Sapp that called it like that on Twitter, and I'm like, wow, okay. And that was really impressive. Man, that was cool. It was cool. Almas hits a huge elbow at some point, like a really big elbow. Sin Cara flips Almas up and over, and Almas hits hard. Almas goes to the top rope. He gets crushed by Sin Cara, but they do the dumb chest stomp in the corner thing that I had mentioned just yesterday on my Raw review. That's when at some point Drew is in a tree of woe, and Seth is on the top rope, and then Drew is in an L position. These are his feet, and that's his chest. His head is here. And Seth goes to jump. He's basically holding himself up, crunching, holding that position so that someone can come stomp on him. It's stupid because it's not realistic, and I know it's wrestling. Wrestling is not is fantasy wrestling, fantasy fighting. I get it, but at some point, there's just things that don't make sense, like holding yourself in a position to receive a move. I don't like that, and this corner stomp thing is dumb. But so I thought they were going to do that, Seth and Drew, but instead Drew grabbed Seth by the head and threw him across the ring instead, and that was cool. Here they did it, and it looks stupid. It's a stupid move, and I'm kind of befuddled that they did it. I don't know if it's some kind of homage to Alberto Del Rio, and I don't know why you'd want to do any kind of homage to that guy. It's the double knees in the corner that does it for Almas, and he gets the win over Sin Cara. That was a great match. And aside from the stupid corner stomp thing, chest stomp thing, it was fantastic. This was a hell of a match for what it was worth. There were so many moves. And I think it was 7 minutes tops. Give them 20. Give these guys 20 minutes. Let them shine. Man, that was fun. And give us more Hunico. More Sin Cara. Man, I'm down with that. Can you imagine if the rumors end up being true and Rey Mysterio shows up and he gets thrown into this mix here? We'd be in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. Sanity and the Bludgeon Brothers are together, and they look menacing, and they have Sanity cut a promo which sounds strangely like your typical Bludgeon Brothers promo, so I'm a little worried that they won't be able to properly write for them now. Eric Young, though, he delivered those lines with conviction and passion, and they were tight. He's a tight promo. A guy who's been in the business for that long, you can tell. That was gold, man. So we have our 10-man tag team main event, the Bludgeon Brothers Insanity versus Team Hell No and the New Day. There were like 3 minutes of commercials for 5 minutes of wrestling. I couldn't get into this match because I barely saw anything of it. It was ridiculous. And it's really frustrating because we had one commercial, an initial commercial, then we came back and we had the picture-in-picture commercial for Extreme Rules, and then we went to another commercial, another broadcast commercial, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I couldn't get into the match, and these are all wrestlers that I like, that I really enjoy. I love Sanity. I love the New Day. Bludgeon Bros are great. Daniel Bryan. Well, there's Kane. Kane is fine. Kane is just old. It's something entirely different. But I like Kane, and I liked the performances Kane put on that night. Look, it was so hard to get into, but it made me realize something. It made me realize that I really care more about the characters, the wrestlers on SmackDown Live than I do on Raw. For me, Raw Creative does a very poor job of making me care about the roster. Whereas here, I care. I care enough to be mad that I don't get to see wrestlers I like, that I care about. I get mad that I can't see them properly put on their shows. So it's testament that SmackDown Live is doing something right. There's something in the sauce there that they're able to set up so that I can care about these lads and ladies who smack each other around for my viewing pleasure. It's true though. I'm not gonna go through all the matches because, like I said, I had trouble getting into it. Um, I there was I'm just reading through my notes to get some big spots. Luke Harper looked really good in this match, I found. The Bludgeons do their corner attacks, and Harper finishes it all off on Xavier Woods with a sit-down slam, which looked really vicious. Woods mounts a comeback, hits a tornado DDT on Harper, and he gets the hot tag to Daniel Bryan, who in turn starts working on Eric Young, which is interesting. A couple of people pointed out that this is probably the first time that both guys ever fought in the same ring, which is interesting. Daniel Bryan hits a Frankensteiner on Young, goes for the yes kicks. He goes for the yes lock, tries for the yes lock, but it gets broken up. Everyone starts hitting their signature moves. Harper hits a big spinning sidewalk slam. Kofi runs the ropes, and Big E just launches him high over the top rope onto Harper outside. And Big E hits his YOLO dive on Killian Dane. I feel like Killian Dane might have missed a spot there. I think there was a bit of miscommunication because Big E threw him into the ropes, but then Killian Dane sort of stepped out of the ropes, and there was a pause where Big E was like, all right, well, fuck this then. And then he runs into the ropes and does his YOLO dive. There was a bit of a miscue there, I think. Nothing serious. It looked good, but it did feel like there was a breath there. There was a heartbeat where it's like, this isn't what we're supposed to do. Someone messed up. I think it was Killian Dane. Bryan hits the big knee onto Eric Young, who eats the pin, and that's your match. Like I said, I couldn't get into it. I don't even know if it was a good match or it was a bad match. WWE gave me barely enough time to care about it. And that sucks because these are all wrestlers that I want to care about. And I want to care about your pay-per-view that's coming up. This was your go-home show. But the big return last night, right, came at the very end when Daniel Bryan brought Pyro back. He brought Kane's explosion back. Daniel Bryan has bestowed upon us filthy, unwashed masses, the gift of pyro. It was a bit of a cheesy ending, but fine. It's fine. It was a little, I don't know. It was okay. I'm just being nitpicky because too many commercials. There were too many commercials on SmackDown. Why? I don't need to be sold all these products. I just want to see wrestling. And we don't get in Canada. We don't get the like the Rusev commercials. He does the commercials for dollar stores or something like that. We don't get that. We get casino commercials here on Sportsnet 360. We have commercials. The commercials we get are of something. I think it's called Party Poker or something like that. Whatever. And there's a party. There's dance music. And you're like in a casino environment, like on a craps table, not a craps table, like a blackjack table. And then you have like a computer and you have devices that are all dancing, but like literal devices, not like big cartoony. No, the devices are there and they're like they're CGI and they're undulating and grinding against each other. There's like two smartphones grinding against each other. I'm like, This is what we get. You guys get the Rusev commercials plus picture-in-picture. And we have to look at friggin' iPhones having a dance party. God bless America, right? Oh, no, but that really bothered me. The commercials really, really bothered me. Especially in the main event. It doesn't have you shouldn't do that in your main event. It doesn't make sense to me. I hope this changes soon, maybe with the Fox deal. I don't know. But guys, that was my SmackDown review. I thought it was, again, a bit like last week. It was a there show. It was okay. I think I liked last week's show a little better here. Things just felt a little too thrown together and didn't advance anything really. There were there was a standout match. I mean, Sin Cara versus Almas was great for the time they had. It really, they really should have given it more time. The lumberjack match was just bad. That was bad. And AJ Nakamura, the tag team match, that was okay. It wasn't offensive by any chance, you know. I don't know what happened in the 10 match. That's it. It wasn't a bad edition of SmackDown. I think I ended up just being disappointed. I'm like, so many missed opportunities. So look, I'm really looking forward to Extreme Rules passing us by so that we can get into proper SummerSlam build-up. I hope and pray that all these little storylines and little buffer storylines that they've set up are going to lead to something or just implode and give us something else. Guys, holy smokes, I'm done. Don't forget, later on this evening, if you're watching this on the 11th, July 11th, right after NXT tonight, I am doing my very first, right there on the whiteboard. See you right there. Follow my thumb. 205 Live and NXT review show immediately after NXT tonight on FightfulSelect.com, but you don't have to be a member to watch it tonight. It's the first edition, and this first edition is going to be offered to you free of charge. So please come over and join me and hang out. It'll be amazing. Tomorrow I will have on my YouTube channel, I'll have my Extreme Rules predictions. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Mr. Warren Hayes. That's the place to be. Guys, thank you very much for watching this to the very end. I appreciate it an enormous deal. And I will see you next time.